Hey you guys, I just want to do this video and just because something just came to me, I wanted to get it out. I was watching the movie with every breath she takes with Tamala Jones and Tisha Campbell and Brian J. White and Jack A. Harry. And I was watching it. As I was watching it, it kind of triggered some things that I've gone through in my life. And as far as relationships, and every relationship I've been in, it was always it wasn't a good relationship, and it was toxic because and I don't know why, but for some reason I attract these type of men. These type of men, for some reason, they come to me, they approach me. Why, I will never know, and stuff like that. So, and that's one that I'm working on. And so I titled this video "Mindfulness and Peace" because I'm in a place for the past couple of years now where I'm very mindful of what I watch, I'm mindful who I let in, mindful of who I'm vulnerable with, or who I'm honest with, who I share things with. And it's all to protect my peace, because I believe in what my pastor said, that your peace is your most powerful asset. You must protect it at all costs. And so, and I've been like that for a while, protecting it. No matter what the cost is. You know what I'm saying? I had people coming to me, oh, hey, watch this show. I had seen this show. Nope. Because as much as you might tell that show is good, or you got to tune in, there's some things I can sort of I can just watch the trailer. I just know, like, this ain't for me. And for me, certain things, certain scenes, to me, I might view it as, oh, this too much as far as person being attacked, because it's not my thing. But anyway, back to, so, and the person, things she was saying, like, she was saying things like with the guy, because he was hurt. She was the character in there. I was like, it seems like he not wanting me to be happy. And anytime he saw me happy or whatever, he would do anything to tear it down, ruin it. He would make it seem like, there was something wrong with her and her appearance, her dress, her clothes, how her body looked. And then when she wanted to do something, he would tear down her dreams, or, you know, and was happy about it, or just it basically now any sign that she was happy, if he saw it, he had an issue. And I remember the first relationship I was in, and this is the first one ever. Like when I was in high school, I didn't date in high school. So the first time I ever was in a relationship or dated was when I was adult. I was like 20 something. Because it was right around. I mean, I was going to Liberty, and I remember when I had graduated from Liberty, I had ended the relationship. And I remember I had met him in 2011, because I remember I got my first place in 2011, and me and him we weren't together, because I think we met in 2011, and we dated, which is some crazy stuff. We dated from like April to the middle of May. So I remember around that time I had graduated, and then like a week after I graduated, I ended it with him, because I remember around Memorial Day we weren't together because I ended it. And he's blowing me up on the phone, whatever, but playing these games. So that wasn't me on the hood. I'm like, I ain't my 40s games. Like, he looked me in the face, told lie, said it when I know it. Because I didn't call you. I said, I had the phone. I said, I had a text me, because he received the text. I said, I had a text me, and his phone calls the person. You said, didn't call me. Even when I did that, it was still like, oh, well, I must have been asleep or drunk or whatever. Trying to make it, he was basically trying to make it seem like, oh no, you tripping, you're crazy or whatever like that, because he was on his stuff. But he reached out to me because I was done with him. And it was around Memorial Day he was trying to reach out, because I remember the holiday was coming up, and he was talking about, well, what can I do? He's reaching out to me, asking what he could do to fix it. And also, he's trying to ask if he never called me. I said, you called me on the phone, talk to me on the phone. I said, I got the phone call. I said, sorry, hold on. I said, I have the phone call. I said, Justice, I have the I said, I had to text me. I said, could you text me first? I said, I had to prove it. So once I had that, he knew he couldn't do thinking about that. I couldn't. So he's like, well, it wasn't me. You must be tripping. You must have did it. Try to say. I mean, I'm like, that's when I realized what he was. Like, oh, you're pathological. But it was my first relationship, so I didn't know. I didn't understand. I didn't know you know, what, you know what I'm saying? So I thought it was my fault because I was being honest about a situation I told him about, you know. I was like, well, you know what, I probably should have been honest with him, but because I'm the type of person, I'm a very honest person, so I was telling him about something that I went through traumatic. I was telling him about traumatic experience. And being that this was my first relationship, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have told him that because it is involved something in the past. But it wasn't a guy that I was dating. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about a past relationship because he was the first person I ever been in, and he wasn't. I didn't realize at the time that he wasn't mature enough to handle it. So it wasn't what me being honest to tell him. It was who I was being honest with, and I didn't realize at the time that I was being honest with someone that could not handle it. You know, because I'm talking, I got my iPad sitting on my legs, so when I move, it kind of shifts. And I didn't realize that because this is my first time ever, and I didn't know what I know now, which is be mindful who you let in, who you tell things, because not everybody's mature enough to deal with it, you know. And what I came about was I was watching a movie, and she was telling him something, and the guy she was speaking to was so mature, and so because he was mature, he was very understanding. He wasn't gonna. He didn't look at us like, oh, you crazy, something wrong with you. Most guys, when they hit someone, bro, they pass, immediately pushes them away. That's because they're immature. You know what I'm saying? And that right there should tell you that if this guy can't help me, I'm to come to him about my past and what has put me through. I don't know why that he's not that person, because what if I go through something with him? You know what I'm saying? But what if I go through something traumatic while we're together and like somebody does something to me? He won't be mature enough to handle because he can't handle this. You know, didn't realize that at the time. So I'm thinking, well, I probably shouldn't have been honest. I probably should have told him that. And it was till later on that I realized that, oh, he wasn't mature enough. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize at the time that not everybody you could be honest with and tell those things with. But I knew, I didn't know why, but I knew that his response was wrong. That's not how he was supposed to respond. I always knew that how he treated me and his response to things was not okay. I didn't know why it was okay. I just knew that, okay, that's not how you're supposed to treat me. That's not how you're supposed to respond. I always knew that I always knew. Okay, there we go. I always knew that how he treated me, I knew it wasn't okay. I knew he was responsible. When I'm here, I'm being honest, and I'm telling you something about traumatic experience. It's not easy, and I knew that that's not how he was supposed to handle it, or the way he was treating me, and just treating me like I didn't know what I want, like I was stupid or dumb, and questioning me and trying to tell me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize too. I ended the relationship and I was on my own. I had time to process that. Like that was mental and emotional abuse. That I was being abused mentally and emotionally by someone. And it was also verbal abuse because he would say certain things. All because I might not have done it how he would have done it. Like if I'm drinking something, like nobody's a fan of water. So if you're sitting here drinking water, you're gonna take your time to drink that water. You know what I'm saying? Not like now. If I was drinking some pink lemonade or something that was a sweet taste, you're gonna kill it. But water, you kind of just take your time. Now it's not a drink that you would just suck down. You know, and anything I did, with the type of food I ate, how much I had, he always had something to say. We could have been, having a good time, and it was like it bothered him that I was happy or somebody having a good time. It was like, so I noticed he would literally start an argument just so I could know, just to ruin everything because, oh, I don't want her to be happy. Because I didn't realize at the time, but it's because as a person, he was not happy. And people who are not happy don't want nobody else around to be happy. So if you're not happy and you're not a person loving, you're around a person doing everything so you can feel how they feel. Because they don't feel it's fair. Like, how's it fair that you could be happy and be having this good time and, that's not fair. So, I'm going to come in, I'm missing so you can't have a good time. And when we dated, I was living with my sister at the time. Even if I had my own place, I never would have lived with him because I'm one of those because I'm a Christian. I'm one of those that I want to wait until I'm married. So if I wait until I'm married, To me, I feel we can't live together because of temptation, and you know what I'm saying. There's no way it causes temptation, and we'll end up, you know, for, fornicating and committing the sin. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm not gonna live with it with a person as well until we are married. So that's something I've been strong on and I stick to. Because and I realized I was protecting my peace because you have to be mindful because if you sit there and date someone, you don't know how that person really is. We don't know who they are. Because a person don't knows how to be a somewhere for a while before they let someone in. Okay. They know how to be, they know how to put that actor for, but eventually after a while they can't act no more. So that's why I always say someone date someone at least about 6 months. Because a person is not a good person, they can only hold off for so long. And a lot of times what they do is they'll try to rush you until they rush you. If you feel like somebody's trying to rush you into marriage, if you know the gentleman was first of all, and also they propose a marriage, and then they want to come on, why just he's trying to rush you because he's at a place that was okay. I don't know how much longer I can sit there and keep this active, so he's trying to rush you, which is what trapping you because he feels okay. Once I marry her to have her, she's not gonna just up and easily leave and go away. You know, they feel okay. I got her now. I have to get her because if she's the type of person, no one know her. She's gonna take these bad serious. She's gonna up and leave right away. You know, and then also he'll be putting um, that fear in her. Um, that fear in her. So a lot of times, so if you feel like somebody's trying to rush you or something, that's because who they really are is about to come out and they can't hold it no more. You know, so watching that movie, it triggered a lot of stuff. You know, because I noticed that anytime we could be chilling, have something, have a good time, and all of a sudden he'll be starting an argument. We would chill, watch TV, laugh, and show good. He gonna find some way to say something to start an argument or just say something that just down right now. I'm like, you know, it was crazy. And I'm glad that we did live together while we were in a relationship. So eventually, and remember, this is my first relationship, so I didn't know. You know, I didn't know why. I knew that what he was doing wasn't okay. And I did speak. I was like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. They said whatever. And then he said, but try to tell me as if like I don't have mine on my own because, you know, so I said, hey, you know, so I've been having, you know, I've been feeling a certain way, thinking about something, was quite sure. So I went to my mom. I wasn't really feeling a certain way. And so, and man, that was something I probably should have done was tell him that I went to my mom. But most men probably will go argue on spot with like, oh, so she said, no. I was like, you didn't hear what I said. I was already feeling this way, but I need the confirmation or I need the, you know, like, I just need somebody to vent to see if I'm tripping. You can't go to the guy and I say, that's that guy. Am I tripping? Of course he's going to say no. He's going to say, yeah, you tripping, da, 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 da. You're the problem. If the guy's the problem, you can't go to the guy that's the problem and be like, and ask him, are you tripping? Because of course he's going to say he's going to say you're tripping. That's the way to control. So he took that one to be like, oh, so your mother so your mother tells you how to think. I said, no. I said, did you not hear what I said? I said, I was already feeling a certain way. So I was already feeling that way. And I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping. I said, she didn't tell me to feel this way. She didn't tell me this was what I already saw her myself. I said, so what we do? I said, we go to our girlfriends or family and we sit here and talk. I said, nobody controls my mind. I said, you know, I said, I'm not stupid. I said, I don't need somebody to think for me, talk and speak for me. I said, I knew him to know what I want. He tried to tell me how I was with guys because there was something he couldn't get. He was like, I know. I said he would he wouldn't. Then he was sitting trying to tell me that, oh, I know you know you don't. You know, and I realized at the time. And but what it was for me that made me end it. I was like, you know what? I said I'm tired of sitting here having to the argument. We be doing you just when I was like, I can't do that no more. I said you want to argue all the time. You on some crap. It's like he always start arguments, bringing up stuff, disrespect to my mom. Some of the disrespect yours, even if she is dead. Because if you bring up my mom, if it's okay just for my mom, you know, I'm just for yours. Oh, but that's messed up because my mother's dead, so it makes you worse than me. I said, no, it's not. I said because my mother is alive, and I don't person that you relationship, but you claim you love, you don't disrespect that person's mother, all because there's something that you can't get, and so you need somebody to blame. So you want to blame my mother and say, oh, she's controlling you, whatever like that, because he's mad that he cannot be intimate with me. And he knew from the beginning that I wanted to wait until I was married. He knew. You know what I'm saying? And instead of respecting that, I found someone who wanted what he wanted. He thought he could change me. He thought he could convince me to go against my values and beliefs because he didn't understand these are my values and my beliefs. He thought I was doing it because of a culture thing. Cause I made her say to me, "Well, that's not the culture anymore." I said, "It has nothing to do with culture." I said, "My values and my beliefs. It's religion." I said, "Even the Bible says fornication is a sin. Fornication is you sitting up here having sex, out here having casual sex with people, and or even if you're in a relationship with someone, you have sex with that person, but you're not married to that person. It's for fornication, you know." I said, "Not a culture thing." These are my religious beliefs, my values." But it's like he wasn't hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not a spiritual person, then you're definitely not a Christian. You can't grasp it. So you knew how where I stood and how I was, and instead of respecting that, you tried to go you trying to you trying to manipulate me to go against my values and my beliefs, and that's not the type of person I want to be with. So I said, I decided that I'm done with us worship because I can't, and I told him I said I cannot be with someone who tried to manipulate against my values and my beliefs. All because he could get something he wanted, and then then he wanted to place blame and sit there and accuse me of being stupid based on I had to mind my own. Now I know how to think. Somebody had to think for me, make decisions for me. That's disrespectful. I said that's hurtful because I know who I am. I don't have to fuck a whole lot of guys to know who I am, know what I want. If you just sit there and feel and think that I don't know anything about men or women or what how I'm supposed to be because they have fun with me, it was shit like that. Like realize you believe that woman, the only way a woman can know how man's supposed to treat her is that he has to fuck her. You know what I'm saying? Like he said to me, it was like, how would you know? You never had sex. I said, I don't have to have sex to know how a woman is, how she thinks. I said, I don't have to have sex to know how a man's supposed to treat a woman. And really, he was saying that because he wanted sex, so he felt like, so he was trying to do that. He was like, you got to do to have sex before. I'm like, what? It was that. It was like beating around stupidity. And I was tired because I knew what I knew. I knew I was talking. I knew what I knew, and and then it was like I'm not about to have the same conversation with you. I know you heard me. I don't want one of those that's about repeating myself. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can't be like this. This is toxic. You want to act like you don't know. You want to act like somebody played you, somebody lied, and then you want to then say that I hurt you. No way. I'm thinking I didn't hurt you. I was honest from day one. I said you just want to say just to fucking say it because I said I said I can't be so that I said that hurt me. I said you mentally and emotionally and verbally abused me. The way you spoke to me, the way you try to manipulate me, you want to tell what I'm saying, the emotional abuse is when somebody try to tell you how you feel and what you want. You know what I'm saying? You want to tell me my feelings, how I felt when you did this. Then the mental abuse is like them trying to tell you who you are, what you like, what you want. And it's like, well, you hurt me too. I said, how the hell? I said, it hurt you. And he said, well, he said, because you had sex with me, that hurt. I said, me not having sex with you, that's not me hurting you. I said, you knew from the beginning. I said, you knew from the beginning where I stood, and you adding as if like it was, you was adding as if I was doing it to you, like I deliberately did it to try to hurt you or whatever, as a way of hurting you. And that's not what it was. You knew from the beginning where I stood. I said, you the one who thought you could manipulate because you thought I was stupid or naive or dumb. That you know what I'm saying? Because you prejudged from the outside. I don't know what you saw, but you said, you know what I'm saying? She would I could probably manipulate her to get her to give in her ways. It's like that's not a man. You definitely ain't a Christian. And then I'm dating guys that's supposed to be, and then it went from that to I'm dating someone that's supposed to be a Christian or whatever. But then a man that's a man of God, that's a grace God, that's a Christian, will never try to manipulate you against your values and beliefs. Even if he's not a Christian, if he's a good man and he's mature, even though he doesn't have a relationship with God and he's not spiritual, he will not try to get you to go get your values and beliefs. He doesn't have to agree with it, but he'll respect it and be like, you know what? This is what his response should have been. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You seem like you're a really nice, good woman. You got good hair on your shoulders. But I can tell just based on how you are, how you carry yourself, how I am, we will work together because you know what I'm saying? And that because the life you choose to live, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't work. And also vice versa. But this is my first relationship. I was this, I didn't know it. But now I'm at a place where I can say, like, you know what, you're still a real nice person, a good person. A lot of people, they do this. Hey, you seem cool, you seem like a nice person, but you know what? I know I'm in a place we're not in the same place. We're not on the same, and it's not going to work because you have a history of being intimate with women that you're not married to. So you're going to want, there's no way you can be around me not wanting. Because eventually you're going to pressure me. And I don't want to be a relationship with a man that's going to try to pressure or manipulate me to go against my values and beliefs. Who's that? Because I'm sick tired of being thinking that I don't know what I want. That I don't know what's best for me. That I don't know what I need. And bad enough, I had to deal with it with my own, damn, with my own mother. With my own mother. So things I don't know what I need. I don't know. I'm not going to deal with it, in a relationship. So, so when I was done, I was done. And then it was kind of like an on and off thing. And because he was reaching out, but there was some stuff going on. My head is draining me. It was affecting me mentally now. Cause now it's like, and I didn't realize at the time. Cause this something my pastor just said maybe like a year or two ago about don't let anybody rent space in your head for free. And that's what was happening. Cause now I'm being stressed that you bring this person in. So I tell you something very vulnerable. That's not a real everyday conversation about being sexually assaulted. And then you get with your new girlfriend and you tell her, and you guys make a joke out of it. That's when at this point, I had been single for a while. So when I was in the process, I was getting new information and growing spiritually as a person and growing in general as a person, just growing. I'm thinking, who does that? I knew that was, I didn't know why, but I knew it was okay. Because I'm like, when someone tells you like that, when you, in any deep conversation you have with someone in your past relationship, you don't go and tell it to the next person. When you're saying this to a black woman, and a black woman use it as a joke, another black woman use it as a joke to hurt another black woman. You black. So from that moment, I realized from that moment that black people are our own worst enemy. Black people tear each other down worse than white people. And so coming to act like the only people that hurt black people is white people, no black people. Because you are a black woman, and this man tells you something, but clearly you immature as well, or you insecure or whatever. So you thought it was funny. And also, and then, and I really don't know what he said, how he said to her, but I was sexually assaulted. You think it's a joke? Sexual assault is not a joke. You know what I'm saying? There's trauma in that people experience. That's what certain things I cannot watch. I used to watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit. When I got older and my brain matured and grew and changed, I was like, and changed spiritually as well. I was like, I can't watch that show. And I loved it. And I remember I watched it up to, I remember, when Stable had left. So it might be like a season two. I might have stayed 2 seasons after I was gone. Because I was like, it was too much. You know what I'm saying? If I see a woman being tied down, because there are some girls who were tied down by people and raped. You know what I'm saying? So when I see it, so I can't watch things like I was watching some of the show Mom wanted to watch, and there was some SMS. I don't do that. I don't watch that type of stuff. That's not something I'll ever partake in because you just don't know. That SMS is a very dangerous thing because you could be hurting that woman you wouldn't even know. And she's telling you stop it, but stop can't be the code word, which is bullshit. Because if somebody says stop, that's what that shit means. Period. But why should in SMS the code word can't be stop? Because and that's part of the problem too. Because SMS people use it as a sexual thing, like you know. People use that sexual as arousal. So when I person saying stop, they don't mean it. That's a way of because let's say you're playing an SMS and this man is supposed to be the person playing the rapist. See shit like that. I'm not about to sit here and do. So you're saying stop. He's not gonna pay you no mind because that's what you that's what you were saying. Say or a person would say, yeah, that rapist will keep going. So you know he's actually hurting you or you what he doesn't know. You know. So certainly I don't watch that. That's something I would never do. I'm just not because of what I've gone through and I protect myself. And so sometimes I don't sit here and watch. So I literally I think they had like a reunion. Because they're not reunion, but they had a crossover thing where they was bringing him back. So I tuned in for that episode. So whenever there's a crossover between those two shows, I tuned in for that Law and Order Organized Crime. I thought it was going to be just strictly on crime and not like the sexual, because special victims is all about sexual assault. But somehow they started just a couple in there. I stopped watching because I don't know when I'm watching an episode what it's gonna be about. So I'm sitting here watching it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I'm like, well, damn. And so I can't really tune into it because I don't know what I'm gonna get. And I didn't think it was gonna be it was gonna touch on those subjects. You know, that's for special victims. You know, I feel that's how it should be. So I had to tune out. You know what I'm saying? Much as I do those with my shows, I love them. I had to protect my peace at all costs. You know, and to for that to be made as a joke and be wrong and jokes made about my genitalia. You know, and jokes made about uh my genitalia and stuff like that. And then they were saying, I'm like, wow. And it was done by so I felt like I was in a triangle because I don't know why I didn't pick up the phone. I'm just like, wow. So here's my ex, a black man allowing a black woman, two black people tearing down a black woman. Now I remember how I felt to be mentally. I was so messed up because I'm playing over again in my head, and this was before I knew. This was like, I'm talking about, this had to be like 2012 maybe. Because we broke up in no, it was in 2012 because we had broke up in May. And I remember I was on my way to go out of town with my mom, and this had just happened a couple weeks before. And I remember we went out because it was around like 4th of July holiday or something. We went out of town, and it just had happened, and it was just crazy. And I mean, here I'm doing somebody trying to tell me like I don't know. Like, I'm the type of person, I know who I am in person. I know I'm gonna tell you straight up verbatim. You know what I'm saying? This guy sat there and approached me, so he was talking to both of us. Because you know what I'm saying? I didn't know who he was, so how can I approach him? I'm at the buzz of my own business. He approached me in February. I knew who I saw when I met him. You can't tell me what type of man he was to me and how he treated me. You weren't there. Just like I can't tell you how he treated you. If you say he was a good guy, well, of course you're going to say that because you give him what he wants. And so, you know, so you probably didn't make him work for both of them between your least probably just gave it to him and earning it. Because you're not yourself for yourself. See, I have respect for myself. You know what I'm saying? And, I said, but I'm never going to tell you that the man wasn't good, but you're not going to tell me that he'd treat me like shit because you weren't there. You had to tell me when I met him. You know. And I should have known because for a whole month to hear from him. And he finally calls me out of the blue. I'm like, as if like shit. And that should have red flag there. Because we have spoke to someone in about, let's say, a whole month. Because we was like kind of like around NCAA. And we used to go like in the end of February, going into March. And I had met him around February. And I remember I was going out of town. I was like, when I get that call, and I remember we spoke one time I was out of town. And something had happened. I tried to call him, but couldn't get nothing. It would ring. Yeah, I was like, I said, you know what? I don't know what. I said, I'm not for the games. I just do trying to play. I'm not going to do this. So I don't deserve this. And because now it has me looking like I'm harassing him. And then so a whole month. So when I was done, I was done. So I think I called him a couple of times when I considered something happened at the thing. But then once I couldn't reach, I said, you know what? I don't need to be calling. I said, I'm just not. So I just stopped. And the whole month went by, no communication from either one of us. And all of a sudden, he blows my phone. At that point, I have kind of got about. So I was like, I didn't talk to him much to recognize his voice. So he calls me, and when I go to answer, he's probably yeah, what's up? He was like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Talking to me as if shit that happened. It was that tone. I'm like, I was supposed to know you what? I said, who's this? He's like me. So I said, I don't know no Slim. He goes, Frederick. I was like, oh, okay. I said, oh, okay. I said, oh, hey, what's up? How are you? He was like, good. So what's up with you? And like, what's going on? I said, I'm good. Hello, so I said, hold up. Because he would have come. I said, hold up. I said, You really go, so you want to sit here and call me and just as if like shit that happened. Like, it's like, here's I was that type of woman. The, oh, I could, like, really? That's a whole month, and you think you can just pick up the phone, start talking to me like, and like, be like, we're supposed to pick up where we left off at. That's a red flag right there. The person thinks that they can just pick up where, no, it don't work that way. I said, even that, didn't know why, but I knew it wasn't okay. And so that's when they tell them, oh yeah, I went to court and I immediately got locked up. I said, locked up for what? He was like for child support because I didn't have bum my wife. So, and they had it where you could look it up in North Carolina. I was, and you could look there, you could see. And he actually had a record of like threats and stuff where he was threatening people, threatening to assault people and all that type of stuff. So he has a history. And the issue with anger, he has anger issues. He has threatened to assault somebody. I think he even had when he assaulted someone. I'm saying, like, what the hell? When he had a, the reason I said because I looked it up, and it showed nothing about you. That's the only thing it showed was you be for the threats you did on people. If you threaten me, you get arrested for that. I said that's all it showed. He said, well, it's not gonna show because it's for child support. So right then, it just didn't add up to me for a whole month, and you claiming you were in jail. So I'm talking to that girl. I said because he called me in April, just out of the blue, because they were there for that April to mid-May. So that's right. I said because he was in jail. So this is what he told me. It was like he was in jail for the whole month. So when she said that, she thought about it, she was, oh yeah, that's right, he was in there. I said he confirmed it for me. I said, but why was there? But I didn't show up because I saw like his record where he has threatened people. But see, I'm not the type of bitch. I'm not about that life. You know what I'm saying? Where, if you got a temper like that where you were threatening somebody, this whatever, you claim it was defending yourself. No, you got involved with a woman, and you didn't take time to know her because all you wanted was in between her legs. Couldn't find out she got a damn man. You want to try to play? No, take your fucking time getting to know someone. That's why I always say take your time, because not just men, women got their shit too, but mine's come from my experience, and I should know then. I said yeah. I know when I met him. I said it was at the end of February. Because I remember I spoke to her because I went out of town for NCLW. We used to go at the end of February because I know when we go. And I was telling her, so I said, and then I didn't hear from him. I'm going to go call him because something had happened. I go to call him and it was going on nothing. And I called him I told her, I said, I called him a couple times and I sent a couple text messages, nothing. And then for a whole month, I didn't hear anything from him. I didn't hear anything from him till April. And that's when she was, oh, you're right here. I said, yeah. I said, I had no reason to sit here and lie. I said, now you know. I said, because if I was lying, if I was something I was going to sit here and lie, I would have lied about that when we said they met. I would have did a time that knowing he was in jail. I said we dated for a month and a half. I said from April to May. I said because about like for 2 weeks, so for a month and a half. So like that second week in May, I was graduating. I was just done because I was able to be away, and I was just sitting thinking to myself, I was like, and I give credit. I think I didn't realize at the time, but I believe it was a guy. Because I come notice that when I'm by myself away from the situation, I had time to think and all that. And he was always causing shit. And he also would displace blame. He would rather blame instead of saying, well, because it was hard for him to say the fact that that's how I felt. Like, this is how I feel. And he couldn't believe because he thought I was stupid and dumb. Which is why he approached me first, because he thought he could manipulate me. So when I'm telling him something about how I feel, he is wrong. Oh, no, that's not how you feel. That's how your mom feel and stuff like that. Because I know you. Manipulation. Kind of like that movie where they want to control. When I want to have control of everything, want to tell you how to feel, how to think, but that wasn't go with me, because he thought his thing was this. He was like, you either be book smart or street smart. You can't be both. Because I was in school, so he figured, oh, you're not street smart. You don't know, so I can whatever. Well, the stuff you know in the streets, I know, but I ain't had to be in the streets to know it. You know what I'm saying? I'm both. I'm book smart and I'm street smart. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff you do in the streets, it applies to when you go out to your career. Because when you work and have a job, people do the same stuff. They bring it to the workforce. I don't want to play, manipulate, get things their way. It's the same as if you in the streets. But God, at a young age, blessed me with wisdom and knowledge, so I already knew. I didn't have to live in the streets and build streets to know how to be street smart. God just gave it to me. He said, I'm going to give it to you. So I'm gonna give you wisdom knowledge, but I'm also gonna give you the knowledge of the streets, how people in the streets will move and whatever. So being that it was my first relationship, as an adult, I didn't know. So a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. It took me a while to get over that. But I never went against my values and beliefs. I'm here right now, 38 years old, and I'm a virgin. Because I went for that man that God has for me. That's why I wear this. This is my promise for me. I wear it. That's my promise to God and whoever my future husband is. I'm waiting for you. Because I will not. And a relationship, my second relationship, it was a guy who was older, like in his 50s. He wanted to control me. He didn't see a grown woman. He saw, or an adult. He saw a child. He wanted to treat me as if I know that green is good for you. And he had to be controlling everything. It had to be his way. Like he had an issue if I ever go somewhere. No. Like he thought I had to run him by him. No, I don't. I said, you met me. I was an independent woman, and that's another issue I had to deal with. I had to deal with a man who, and even though I was being independent, and so he knew that, but he thought that if we decided to be relationship serious, so I can once we did I can handle. I can He thought I was just gonna go just like that. It's like no, well, independent woman, as soon as it gets serious, or it's like relationship that you can just immediately control her. He was trying. What it was he was trying to handle me. He couldn't, and I bothered him that he couldn't handle me. He wanted to handle me. I thought, no, you can't handle me. If when you meet someone that they are a strong, independent woman, and you got an issue with that, why waste your time? Because you think you could change that person, make that person dependent. Because you think you make that person dependent or weak. You know what I'm saying? A person that's independent is strong. You know what I'm saying? You're basically telling that person that you have an issue with her being strong and independent. You've been telling her almost my weak and dependent. That's not who she is. So you want her to be somebody that she's not. When you sit there and say, "Well, I set you for yours," no, you don't, because you won't allow me to be who I am. You won't allow me to be who I am. So how can you sit there and say that you accept me for who I am when you won't allow me to be who I am? You won't allow me to be who I am. Allow me to be who I am. And just seeing that kind of triggered me, because I have gone through it. I have experienced it. And I've gone through it. I have experienced it. And so I just wanted to tell my story. I've never lived with a guy that I was relationship with. Only one time I had did it. And it was a lot. It was the last relationship I've had, because I've been single since 2017. And here it is, 2023. So I've been single for about 8 years. If I'm doing this right, hold on. 6. Let me see. Because it's 2017, it's 2023. So for 6 years, I have been single. Because, and it sounds, he was, and I didn't realize at the time what he had going on. But pushy. When he was pushy, wasn't what he wanted, because he didn't understand. You can't stand somebody's house and tell somebody, and somebody says to you, no, but you do this, you don't say, no, this, so you don't stand somebody tell somebody, no, someone did this, I don't want to sit at your damn house. You don't stand at somebody else's house and tell somebody, no, if I'm going to this side, I'm going to, who did you tell me what house I'm going to go in my house? You tell me, I need somewhere to stay, because I don't have to open up my house to you. I don't have to open up my house to you, number one. Let's get that straight. The person does not have to sit there. They have every right to say no. Because this is my space that you want to invade and come into. And show them what you're doing. This is my personal space that I protect. And I have every right to decide who comes into my personal space. You don't have the right to stand there and tell me that, okay, if I said so, you stay, but you got to be on the couch. No, that ain't how that works. I said, no. I said, I just moved into this place. I finally have so I'm finally at a point where I'm by myself, because I was staying with someone live with them. And it's a problem. If I got my own place where I'm by myself and have my space and my peace, I'll with other people. I said, I'm not in that position. I want somebody in my house right now. I said, I just got this place. Because I had moved in at in June, like the beginning of June. So I met him. I only been there for about 2 months because I met him like in August. Kobe's into August. I had met him. I want to say about August, about 2 months after I moved in. So I haven't been there living there for about 2 months. No. And I said it to him. I said, I just moved in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm still, you know what I'm saying? I said, I've only been here about 2 months, so I'm just not getting where I'm by myself. I have my own space, peace. And I was just living with somebody. I'm not in the mood to live with nobody. A person who just, especially if the last person lived, especially the last person lived that they were living with somebody, they don't want to live with somebody the right way. They had that right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I ain't got, but it was like and I didn't realize at the time. I think it was like he was trying to make his issues. He wanted me to make his problems my problems. That's not how it works. So your problems are your problems, and they sit there trying to force your shit on other people. That's your problem. Especially with somebody you just met. I just met you. That's not my problem. I just met you, and I got my own stuff I deal with. And you think I'm supposed to make your problems my problems? So you're the type of person that thinks it's okay to throw your shit on somebody else. You got your own stuff going on, but he kind of had more than I know of. So I found it later on so it was till like the end of December of that year, which is 2016. And had moved in. I think I stormed something. No, because I remember a storm hit. He was definitely about. I was like, oh, you got to go, because he was just on me. I was like, oh, you got to go. Oh, you got to go. You got to go back. What is it? I said, that's my problem. I said, you need to talk to your little friend. But I think he was. I didn't realize till I think he was lying about the situation, because I think he I don't think he wanted to go back because he liked being around me. He's the type of person that he liked being alone. And I'm not that type of person. If I'm by myself, I don't see myself as being alone or I'm lonely. But that's how he saw himself when if there wasn't anybody around. Tim was like, oh, lonely. That's not me. And he couldn't rest in his brain. I'm telling him, like, yeah, I said, I'm by myself. I said, where I go, God is right there where I go. I'm the type of person, I'll sit and play tennis by myself. I sure will. I said, right there, play tennis by myself. Why you playing by yourself? It's not good to be. I said, that's how you feel. I said, I don't see it as me being lonely or alone, or I don't see it like that. He couldn't rush that because he felt like if that's how he felt, that's just how it is. That's it. Like everybody feels it. No. So we had lived together from January and this stuff. And I never had lived without, and I don't know what made me do it. So from January up until September, we lived together because we broke up in September. So for about 9 months, and it felt long. It felt like a year because we started dating that the August before, so we was together for like 13 months. 13 months, and I started to realize I was with someone who everything had to be about him. He did the same thing in the middle of shit. He just did it differently. Each guy did the same thing. They just did it differently. He finally making it about him, and and he was just I was tired of guys not wanting to compromise. I had to be there, but I was tired of it. I couldn't understand. I said, God, why is it that guys like this who don't have this shit together, got stuff going on, why are they coming to me? Why? And I still don't know. I still haven't got the answer. I just didn't get it. I'm like, no, God, you know me. You know what I'm saying? You know that's not the type of guy I would sit there and want does a lot of your word. I know that that's not the type of person, the type of man that you would want for me to have. You know what I'm saying? I know God wants a man that he's already who I need him to be as a man of God. My known God, because God wants us to be able to have the best. He would never have God. That's not the type of person God was sending me. That was Satan. That was a God. That was Satan. Okay, sending those men to me. Because God knows who I am, how I care myself. I'm the type of person that, it was almost like Satan wanted to test. Like, okay, really? Well, let's see. But here I am, still a virgin. Like, I don't know what else. It would take for Satan to realize, like, okay, she's just not. You know, I've been waiting and ready for God to send me my husband. Because those, they went in. Because God won't send me those men. That, you know what I'm saying? Because God won't send me an alcoholic. God won't send me someone that's mental and emotionally and verbally abusive. Because he knows what I deserve. When you are God's child, he says you the best. I was like, so I could not understand why these guys were coming. But now I think I realized God's ass in here. It was Satan. Because I'm with him, I'm having an issue. I'm seeing, because of the issue, these were the issues I didn't like, and I need to this is how I need the guy to be. He needs to already, because when a guy says you that man, that man is already going to be how God knows you need him to be. That man doesn't have to change. He's already going to be there. These men have to change, and they will have to want to change. They didn't want to change, and they had to change for themselves. You know, and I was just hurt. And that was the last one. It was irregularly broken because the trust was broken so bad. I mean, it was to the point where here I'm thinking he's going to work or he's going to Bible study, kind of find out he wasn't going. So once I realized that, I'm like, well, I was like, I don't know. So then my thing was like, I cannot be with someone where now when I leave the house, here I'm thinking he's going to work, because I find out he's not going to work. So I'm like, I didn't like it was stressful. It was too much. Because at one point we only had one key. So here I am at a certain time of the day. Now I'm flipping out. Oh my God, is he going to be home? Because I got to be able to get into my house. I had to be able to get into my house. Is he home? You know, I didn't like. I said I didn't like living there. I said I can't. I said it hurt. He couldn't see how much hurt he was causing. I said, because you're the only person that affected you. You knew you had this issue with alcohol drinking going all this time. So why would you sit there and approach someone knowing you have this going on? Why would you drag somebody into your shit? Why would you drag someone into your stuff? If you know you got all this stuff going on, you know you cannot be. Why? You'll say leave people alone, be by yourself. Find someone that's similar to what you're doing. Find someone that's okay with you being like I'll be out there in the streets. That ain't for me. And I never in my life thought I'd be trying to I'd be out there in the streets looking for my man and having to bring him out of the streets drunk. I was so embarrassed, so humiliated. Because as we're coming back, because it took us so long, you know, because it was hard for the walk and stuff like. I mean, if it took an hour when the owner should have taken, because it took me 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute walk, so it only should take us 20 minutes to get back. It took us about an hour because we didn't have a car at the time, and so we get there we're on the elevator. He's drunk, and there was this family, where they had like one child. It was the man and the woman. Like about to talking, things are moving, and it's getting up to my nose, and it's almost like it's cutting. Whew. And he's like leaning up in the baby's face. I said, what the hell? And I'm thinking, he gonna get us, killed or whatever. I'm like, this ain't what I signed up for. So, and I never really had time to myself because he wouldn't be around me all the time. So I never could really. I'm off. I could never really relax. I was so stressed. I was so stressed. I could never sit there and relax. And then I would go to bed tired and wake up tired. When you wake up, you should be waking up tired. And I didn't realize at the time then. I was like, why is it? I said, I'm going to bed and I'm sleeping. So I understand why I'm still tired. I didn't realize that physically, I was still getting my rest, but mentally, I wasn't rested because I was affected mentally. I was physically and mentally tired, but I didn't really, I couldn't understand. So I'm going to bed, I wake up, and I was just so tired. I was just so tired. Because the physical was getting rest, but the mental was. I was mentally drained, and they realized that at the time. Then because because we're working at daycare, okay, that job is stressful enough as it is. My let's go to my throat. That job is stressful enough as it is, and so when My home has always been my place of peace. Where okay, when I get off where I go home, I can be at peace. I can worry about. He can't be. He took that away, and I take responsibility for it because I should have stood my ground and been like, no, no. Yes, he helped out with bills stuff like that, but then, I knew about that Drake. I'm thinking, where's your money? You done spent a couple $100s on alcohol just that fast. So now he didn't have something for he didn't have the money for electric, which no problem because before I met him, I pay even right now. I pay all my bills. I said, you know what? I said, don't worry about the rent because he'll pay half the rent, and he pay. I said, don't worry about the electric bill. I said, don't worry about half the rent. I said because I cannot sit here and risk my rent being fucked up because you can't get your shit. I straight up told him. I said, you ain't gonna be. He's like, no, no. I said, no. I said because the rent is due, and I can't rely on you. So you're dependable. I said, who say you won't sit and spend the rent money and now we sit here on the roof over your head? I said, don't worry about it. I said, because the house been sure I'll wait. And then he was like, wait on. I said, damn. I said, your mom. I said, I'm to do what my mom said. I said, my name is on it. I said, not hers. And I'm gonna pay it when I start. I want to sit here and pay it. You know. And I'm just like, and it pissed me off because like, why would you? Because I know my mom wouldn't have called him, so you must have to return and call her. Why? And it pissed. I said, don't worry about it. I said, because I was paying my rent before you. Because before he even lived it, he was like, well, let me just help you. I said, he was getting money for electric bill. But I paid that rent every single month, the whole entire thing. So I was doing it before you. Before I met you, I was doing it. And so, he didn't help me until he moved in January. And even then, I still didn't have extra money. I'm like, how is I don't have extra money? Because there were times with things he didn't pay, so I had to pay. Or like he was supposed to go on the groceries, but he doesn't spend money on alcohol. Oh, I'll give it to you next time I get paid for groceries for this one. But by then it's too late. So I said, okay, I'm done. Done. I'm done. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, I said, at that point, I knew, I was like, I was done. And I was like, well, let me go to God, pray, and make sure that, I'm not messing up. So, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's when I started, that's when I started my consulting God and reach out to God and speaking it and communicating to God about decision making in my life. It used to be I was making a decision and I wouldn't go to God about the decision if I made it. You know what I'm saying? And it was when so the only time I had to myself is when I was at work on my lunch break. So I would sit there, talk to God, pray, And he was like, he finally answered. He was like, yes. He basically told me that the decision I was making, deciding to, was the right one. It was the only time I had. Sometimes I would go for a walk just to be able to vent and get it out. You know what I'm saying? It was the only time I had. So the only time like if I was walking from the bus out to the job, I'm trying to get as much as I could. If I got to work, once I got to work, I couldn't really, and I didn't want to disturb me at work. Then I'd be on my lunch break, and if I was by myself, I would try to get out a little bit, but talk real low. But I made sure I face where I could see somebody was coming in. Because the way it was set up, there was only one door. Because I was at a different job at this point. So the door was here where people come out. So I didn't want to have my back face because I want to be able to, So if I sat there, because where the table was, the table was like this was the door. The table came from here. This was sorry, you can't see it. But it was like the door was here, there, and the door was, and the table was horizontal to where the door was. So like your back to your basically, if I sat at this end of at that end of the table, my back would be to the door. So I sat on the other side where I could see, you know. And it was odd because I was able to have lunch by myself. Usually when I first went there, somebody was always in the room. I noticed around the time there was nobody in the room. I would go to lunch. I would go to that time when nobody else was going. I was been getting out of there, and then I thought, let me just go for a walk. And I was getting out there. So one day, so every day, now I walk home. I'll walk from the job to the bus out and stuff. And I was getting out, you know, and stuff like that, And I was like, and so as I'm going through stuff, I was like, it's like God was showing me, like he started to, because I came to him and I asked him, he started revealing things to me. So I'm like, oh, okay. I started seeing more. I started, and it became deep. I'm like, oh, okay. And so that's how I knew, like, yeah, I'm making the right decision because da da da. And this is probably around like August. So the church was having an event, and he already told the church he was going to be. So I said, okay. So I was like, so I said to myself, after that event, it was my sister's birthday, and I think her birthday was like Saturday, and then had an event next day, which was the 10th. And it was the because what they do is for the church's birthday, they'll have like a little picnic thing or whatever at a park, and the next day at church they had the little event. So we did that day for that. When we left, someone said, "Oh, you know," I said, "No, we're gonna walk," because I wanted to talk to him before we go. Because I wanted to let him know before we got to the house. Because I wanted to be able to have a good, conversation. So the whole walk I was just telling it, and I basically ended the relationship right there. September 2017, I sure did. He packed his stuff up and he left. You know, and yeah, he packed his stuff up. He left, and he was like, and I remember he made a little comment. He's like, "Cause I'm gonna so you can have your little space back or whatever like that," and making this little comment, And when he left, sure enough, because the apartment I lived in, I was on the 8th floor, so we had an elevator. So of course, with the elevator, there's a window. So each floor had the window where you could look out as you're waiting for the elevator. You could look at the window, and so because I was on the 8th floor, I could see a little high. There was a Kmart there, so I could see the roof of the Kmart, but I could also see kind of like past it. So last time I was walking, like cut to the parking lot of the Kmart, you kind of see them a little bit. Whew, things are moving now. I'm talking, and so and sure enough, he left. When I see him, he's going to the left. He's walking in the direction of the Circle K, and that's where he would used to be at. He was drinking, so I knew. I said, how about that? So I knew right there. I said when he was making those changes. So he finally was changing, but it was at that point where it was too little, too late. By the time he did, it was too late. So he made a change, but I knew. When I saw that, I said, well, that's just right there. I said he didn't change for himself. He was making those changes because it's something that I wanted. He was doing it for me, not for himself. If you're gonna change and not be alcohol and drink, do it for yourself. And when you do it for yourself, let's say this person, and then like if you do it for yourself, if you're in a relationship and that person ends it, you wouldn't immediately go to the restaurant where you go drink at. You call first and say, hey, can you pick that up? But what you did is basically show me that you didn't do it for yourself, you did it for me. And I said to him, I said, if you're going to make these changes, I want you to do it for yourself. Don't do it for me. Because something was to happen, you need to be strong enough to be able to sit there and not go back to that. You immediately, he went straight to the alcohol. And got drunk. You had a friend you could have called. But you made your choice. Now, I remember calling a friend to give him a heads up, because this was on a Sunday, and I knew he had work next day. So I said, look, well, his boss, I said, I just want to give you a heads up that, he might not be at work tomorrow because I just ended our relationship for good. Like, he, like, I met, he, what I'm saying, I had a pack of stuff and everything. Like, he literally just left, but he went to the restaurant at Circle K and stuff like that, so he might not be at work. I said, it's up to you. I said, if you want to go try to meet him, talk to him, whatever. But I feel like he didn't make that change for us, so he did it for me. Because I ain't in a relationship and you immediately go and get drunk. Like, why? Because that's the case. Why didn't he walk in the direction of you? Or why didn't he call you? Because he had plenty of time to sit and call you. Because he's walking. You mean to tell him he can't, because he can't call you while he's walking? I said he had plenty of time to sit and call you, but he didn't. So I knew right then, yeah. But that had to do with the harassment. I go to work, and when I go to work, as I'm getting off the bus to go home, because I was mad. Because when you ride the bus doesn't stop right. The bus doesn't stop directly where you live. You have to get off and walk down. So the bus will stop at Circle K. And a certain day he's sitting there. And then I was like, oh, can we get... I said, no. I said, don't follow me. I said, what part? I said, we're done. I said, this is not a judgment like it's not what, no. I said, because my mother told you I mean what the fuck I say. I said, we're done. I said, don't follow me home. I said, leave me alone. That's all I know what you're saying. I said, but go. Because when I was ending it with him, he was like, well, I don't have nowhere to stay. This is like when I broke up on that Sunday. I said, what about your friends that you sat there and you was drinking with? So you can't, those ain't my friends. Those people to drink with. But I said, yeah, but you chose them. I said, yeah, but you chose to drink with them instead of coming home to me. And that's how I realized in that moment. I said to him, I said, basically, you chose them or you didn't choose me. I said, you had a choice to make. You could either choose to take control or you could choose me. You chose to drink and get drunk with your friends. And now you don't know where to stay. And you're like, well, those ain't my friends. Well, if they weren't your friend and that was somebody you could stay with, why would you choose them over me? So I made the choice that I was going to choose myself over him, which is not a bad thing. Because you choose alcohol over me, like really? Some liquor, some drug over me? I would rather a man choose himself over me than choose some alcohol or some friends or drugs. You know, something that can hurt you. Me choosing me over you doesn't hurt me. I'm not choosing something. I'm not choosing something that can hurt me and destroy me. You chose something that can hurt you, you chose something that can hurt and destroy you over a person that actually cared about you and loved you. And you know what I'm saying? I could no longer be with someone who continually did not choose me. Over he constantly kept choosing it. And I didn't realize that until the relationship had ended. And I was watching something just like, you know, I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, so ever since then, I'm like, I'm going to make sure that if I'm with someone, that I know I'm with someone that they're going to choose me over something bad. You know, I want a man who has a good head and shoulders, good friends, a man of God, a man of grace, a Christian, who moves in the image of God, how God would act to respond to things, you know, and respect me for who I am, accept me for who I am, and respect my values and beliefs. That's what I want, you know. I want a man who knows what he has at home, and he's going to choose to come home, you know what I'm saying, and not be out here getting drunk. I might have a couple drinks with his friends, good for the head and shoulders. But when it's all said and done, he's going to come home. He's going to choose me. You know, he's not going to allow people to get him. And while he knows what he has at home. You know. And at one point, I ain't gonna lie, I thought, I was like, is it me? Like, it's just something I'm doing that's causing the right bad shit. But then I remembered, he was like this. This is something he had way before he met me. You know what I'm saying? He was an alcoholic because I remember him telling me he had been drinking since he was like 11 years old. You know, he's Hispanic. So you've been like this since you was 11 years old. And her mom said, he was like, before he met me, I didn't do anything to drive him drinking. Ben was like that. You know, he allowed me to think it was me at one point. That's what really about. How you gonna sit there and allow me, I'm blaming myself. You let me blame myself and let me think it was me when you knew it wasn't me. You knew you had this going on way before you, and you was gonna allow me to sit there. Like, what type of man sits there and allows a woman to feel like crap and blame us and think, oh, it's me? Just wow. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. You know, so while I really lived with him, so my place, it took a while for me to get my apartment back. You know what I'm saying? My peace. And because, like, there was a time where I'm the type of person, I could watch TV and be on my phone. You know what I mean? He had an issue with that. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not watching TV. I'm like, I'm laying next to you. I'm watching television. I can watch TV and be on my phone. It's not like I was actually like talking to someone or playing a video. I was just scrolling, you know, because I'm in that, because I want to feel like I got to do something on watching television, you know. And I'm laying right next to you, but I was like, that wasn't enough. It's like, no matter what, it was never enough. It never satisfied. So we have to be mindful of who we let in. We have to be mindful of the choices we make. We have to be mindful of what we watch, because what we watch can affect our minds. We have to be mindful of what we allow our minds to receive. We have to be mindful of who we open up to. we have to be mindful of how we respond. But you have to be mindful of how someone responds to us. We have to protect our peace at all costs because it's our most valuable asset. Because it's the one thing that Satan goes after. You know what I'm saying? He won't sit there and, you know what I'm saying, he'll allow you to give him, like my pastor was preaching yesterday. He'll allow you to give promotion, but because of your peace, he's coming after that. And I protect mine at all costs. There's certain things I don't watch. You know, a couple weeks ago, something had got to me because Satan was able to get to my head. And you the type of person, okay, no, whatever. And I think I allowed Satan to get in. And he used my mother to better get into my head. You know what I mean? Instead, not that what she said wasn't right, but I ended up getting upset in a way that I normally wouldn't have had. You know what I mean? You know, so I'd be like, what it is, what it is. But, you know, it was a learning process. Because a lot of times I did not realize at the time. I knew the body of stream was okay, but I didn't know why. Until I got older. I was like, oh, they were mature. It wasn't there because I was honest, because me being honest wasn't wrong. Because there has to be, because in order for a relationship or a marriage to survive, there has to be honesty. But you got to be honest with the right person. Are they mature? Are they secure enough to handle that? Because everybody's going through trauma. You know what I'm saying? Is he a Christian? Is he spiritual? Is he a man of God? Is he a man of grace? You know. So I learned that, okay, let me take my time to get to know a person. Because a person shows you a lot of who they are. You know, I'm doing things differently. I'm mindful of what I watch. You know, a lot. I don't do like supernatural shows or movies. You know, if it has anything to do with supernatural, like ghosts, or we trying to tell the ghost, or like do readings and shit, I don't do that. Now, watch the movie with Monique, but was that type of movie? They just did it for that moment, but it was basically a thriller movie. It was actually good. The reading on BT, I'm gonna check that out. It was actually pretty good. And but certain things I don't watch. That poltergeist type stuff, and people trying to. I don't do that shit. The minute whenever I see a trailer, I don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? Or I've seen the trailers like The Ring and in the TV. I don't do that shit. So I don't do that shit. You know, I protect my peace. Certain things I sit there and watch. You know. So. But I just had to get off my chest, and my throat was kind of, because there's a move around, your nose, your mouth, and all that's connected. As I'm talking, things loosening up. I'm trying to blow as I feel it, but if I'm not blowing, it's like going back down or something. But, that's what I just had to get off my chest, and I just want to put out is be mindful and, protect your peace. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody up in your house. It took a while for me to get it back, because I about to reach my phone and I felt so guilty, so bad. And that's how bad he was. That's how much of control in the way he kind of had, because I was sitting there, like, I could really feel him there, see him there. He wasn't even there. So I wouldn't even want to pick up my phone because I can really hear his voice. Oh, you did, because he would say it all the time. Oh, you gonna pick up? You not da da da. And the final one, I just did it. I had to pick it up. I don't know why I take control back. Because I finally said, I was like, he's not here anymore. I said, why are you allowing him? If I just pick the phone up. And then I was watching whatever shows I wanted to watch. It's like he always had something to say. If I'm watching something, he had something to say about it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't believe in compromise. So, the deal was he would pick a movie. And after that, then the next movie I would pick. So I pick it. He said he complaining the whole time. But, and when even before we lived together, he was doing that. And I remember saying that. I said, this is my house. I said, I'm not about to sit here and you're not going to make forget to my house because they'll show that I'm into what you might not like. And that's fine. But don't make it seem as if I show him watching stupid or dumb or something wrong. And he literally put his head and shook his head. People trying to, it was like that. He did just like this. He was like, just like that. I just sit there and say, you know what I'm saying? It made no sense. You watch like in my house. And from those experiences, I made a point like anybody will come here and just say me, make me feel shameful in my house. It's my house. I pay the bills all by myself. No fucking help. The government don't help no nothing. No. I'm sick tired of men, and nowadays they just want to hang out. They don't want they don't want to date. They don't want to take you out on a couple of days. Take time to get to know you. Just couldn't want to be at your house. Okay, I could know you ain't come to my house, and I'm not going to yours. You know, I want to take time to get to know someone before I'm putting in a situation where I tell you, like immediately. Sometimes if I go on a date with a guy the first day, I have to sit there because he's already trying to go to my house, or whatever, because he feels like, hey, I took you out to eat. Don't mean I'm supposed to fuck you. So I mean I have to sit there and tell him things that I shouldn't have to tell him because you and me taking it there. You know. So I'm going to the guy, I'm working on a guy with that to figure out how to better respond without having to reveal my truth, without having to reveal that part waiting. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that better response could be, you know what? I'm good, I'm gonna go home. Sorry. You know. I was about to know. Well, you want to go? No. I think my response should be, you know what, I had one for time, one for time with you. I enjoyed, the dinner, whatever, but, I think the date is here. I'm gonna go home. I talk to it. Yeah, it's in that shit. Cause my issue is I'm so concerned about people's feelings. Oh, I want that person's feelings. Da, 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 da. All I think about is people's feelings, but nobody thinks about mine. I'm more concerned about a person's feelings than people are about my feelings. I'm tired of it, and I get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because people had a tendency to look at you like, dang, like you do, like it's fucked up, but really it's not fucked up. This is fucking 2023. You think I'm supposed to fuck you because you think you did me a favor? Like I can't afford it. We didn't agree to go out to eat because I know once I said to you, oh, I can't afford it. And there should have been a conversation had, because that's what you were expecting. We should never even went out. We never should even went out. That's what you were expecting. So I'm just at a place where I have changed. I move differently. I do things differently. And now that with me having a car for about 3 years now, I feel like I'm being protected of that too. Because I'm like, if I had a car a long time ago, I had my license then, I honestly believe I wouldn't have met half of those guys. I honestly believe I never would have met those guys. Because I know that now that I have a car, and I go to work, I come home, I don't have to. The only time I might be out is when I'm at the store or I'm running the errand. And I don't run to guys like that. Because all those guys I met, I was riding the bus. The first relationship, the second relationship, and my third relationship. I've been a total of only 3 relationships. Other guys I met, we dated, whatever. And they were all guys that I met because I was riding the bus and I would see them. They had their own car. They riding the bus like I'm riding the bus. But they're looking like, oh, well, you take care of me. But you don't want me to be independent, have my own money, but you still want me to take care of you. No. There's one guy, he was my neighbor. And he was older, like in his 60s or whatever. And he approached me. It was funny because I just said a prayer to God. I said, God, I come to realize it's not about maturity. It's not about how old you are. Because I was thinking that, oh, I'm better than some guys that are older because I feel, oh, they'll be mature and have their stuff together. No. So I said, you know what, God, I come to realize that, no matter how old they are, they're not going to be mature. So I said, you know what, God, I'm done dating guys that are older. I no longer want to date guys that are older than me. Or I said, I don't mind dating someone that's the same age as me or a little bit older than me, like in their 30s, maybe. Because at the time I was like in my 30s. I said, man, in their late 30s or early 40s. I don't mind that, but not. I said 56. I said no. I just had come. I said, guys, talk to. I said I'm done with that. I said because you know what, I believe the person you have for me, he's out there. I know that there's someone the same age as me who feels the way I feel, thinks the way I think, and is spiritual the way I am, and have probably the same values that I do, that's about the same age as me, and I know he's out there. I know that person exists. Because you made someone for everyone. And then my neighbor approached, I was doing something. And every guy, they approach, I never go to them, they always approach me. And he approached me, my neighbor. But it was kind of crazy because he had been hurt so bad that he was so afraid to let a person in. So here you got this good woman that, you know, is a Christian, loves the Lord, doesn't go out, doesn't drink like that. And you fuck it all because of what somebody else did. So then you sit there and treat her like she can't be trusted. He was treating me as if I was the one who betrayed her. Like, I didn't cheat on you. So now anything I did, he was, you know what I'm saying, he was constantly questioning me. And I'm not the one who said didn't cheat on. You know, I'm like, what the hell? He was treating me as if like he could trust as if I was the one, I'm the one who did it. So I told him, okay, you're not over that. Because even if I didn't start bringing up my past, the way you treated me shows that you cannot sit here and trust me. But as a man, you sucked. Because at your age, I expect you to know, not to think the way he was saying, the way he was acting. I expect you said when you was old, you should know that. Oh, okay. At 61 years old, you wanted to be my sugar daddy. Oh, I'm like, no, I'm not. What? Like, come on now. You might not be a special person. But if I say, you know, because if I was the type of person, I told him, I said, if I was the type of person, I said, me, you never would have met over because I wouldn't be living where I was living at. I said, if I'm going to sit there, if a man got a whole lot of money, and I'm going to sit with him I said, I'm not going to stay in no apartment like this. I said, I'm going to have me a nice car, so I'm going to give me a nice house. I'm going to make sure I get pregnant at least twice by another child support. I'm going to make sure I'm good. I'm going to get my own business, so that way I don't have to rely on him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm playing by him forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my shit right. Like anybody fucking do, I'm still living this fucking right ass. No, I'm gone. Gone. I said, really? I said, if I was that person, I said, you never. I said, because I would have had somebody already. I said, I would have had somebody already. I said, I never would have lived there. If I was the type of person, I was that shit a long time ago. And you never would have met. Because I already would have been. I said, so clearly I'm not that type of person. Because I live across, I said, I pay all my bills. I said, I live across the hall from you. My neighbors, I pay all my bills. So, I said, I pay them all. And on time. And on time. So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I was like, but you sit there and say, well, I don't want to tell you how much I got because, you know what I'm saying, if you're going to be with me, I want you to be with me for me. And then turn around, I don't know what he was saying, if he thought that he was about to lose me, I don't know what it was. So he said, I said, well, I got money. So everything was there, you know, because I got money, you going to be there. I'm like, why would you tell me that? You just sit and say you want me because you wanted me to know. Then you want me to sit here and let you be my shit. I said, but I thought you, because basically you're saying that you don't want nobody to use you, or, you know what I'm saying, you don't want no gold. If you want me to be, but then why you so quick saying my children? Why you so quick to want to showboat your car and all that type of shit? Because you grew up in the era where that's all you have to offer. It's more than that. You know what I'm saying? And I said thing about a first car. I said you have to have your own place. You have to have your own car. You have to have a job. Because if we're going to go out, you're going to have to take me out. I'm tired of these guys approaching me, and you ain't got your own car, you that ain't got a job, or so. It's like, or you working, or you got a job, but you ain't got a car. You know what I'm saying? But every single one of them, none of them had a car. First relationship didn't have a car. I met this guy, he was in his 50s, did not have a car. The last relationship with that Hispanic guy, did not have a car, but he worked. I'm like, and then, I'm like, you know, and the sad thing, you gotta have your shit together. Because as a man, it's your responsibility. How can you sit there? How can you promise you keep me safe, but you can't even get me from point A to point B safe because you ain't got no damn car? Because when you ride the bus, you're out there, you are exposed. There's nothing to protect you. Not every bus stop has a shelter. Not every bus stop has a seat for you to sit down while you're waiting. Sometimes the people on bus stop, you got to stand there. You have to stand. You know, you are exposed. At least if you're in your car, you're not exposed. They can't get to you easily. If I was walking, a person could either walk up, just grab me, and drag me. In a car, my car would have to come to a stop. You have to catch before I get in the car. But once I'm in that car, them doors locked, I'm driving. You can't get to me. You would have to do something to make me stop my car. But I'm not gonna roll my windows down I might crack that bitch so I can hear you, but what? But I'm gonna run that bitch down. I'm not gonna crack it through you get your fit your arm through that motherfucker. You know? You know what I'm saying? You're just like on, like you're on a moped. Once like you're exposed, somebody pop you, there's nothing to protect you and cover you. Cause you just out there. You know, it's the same when you riding the bus, you just out there. You ain't nothing to cover you, walking. Somebody walk behind, snatch you up. You know? So when I give a man, I expect that man to take me from that. I expect that man to give me some type of protection and security. And I didn't feel secure with none of them. You know? I didn't feel secure with none of them. Because you are alcoholic and you just, I'm like, it was just, I'm like, why? You know? Why these men? Why? And all they did was brought me heartache and pain, you know? And now here I am, kind of afraid. Because it seems like every single one, you know, I just don't want to get my heart broken again. I just don't want to, and then I'm just done. I'm 30 years old. I'm tired, you know. No, I like, I've said to God, I was like, I'm ready. Whoever you have for me, I'm ready. Because I know that person is for me, and I know I'll be able to commit to them and be intimate with them because that's the person you have for me. I said, just show me, tell me who that person is. Reveal that person to me. I'm that person. I don't go out that damn much. But the person that God has for me, he'll find me. He'll see me. He will find me. You know. But I'm tired of the immature. I'm a man that's mature, but not arrogant, not narcissist. You know. Because when a man's successful, some of them, they get a tad bit where they get a little. Because if you're successful, if y'all both, a man can't handle it when he's successful and he meets a woman, she's so good. It's like, well, dang, if she's successful, I will have to allow her to have say, and they wouldn't have all to say. Because I want a man successful, but I want a man that will support me in what I do, and it's okay with me having say. I have just as much say in the relationship and in the marriage and in the household as you do. You know, because the world we live in, you need at least 2 incomes to pay the bills. One income ain't gonna cover it. One income is not gonna cover it. You know, so sorry, I was only thinking about something, but I'm just tired. You know, and I'd rather be by myself, single, and adopt a baby. Because I already put the stuff in, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather be by myself and happy than to sit here and be so just say I got somebody and be fucking embarrassed. Because there are a lot of people who like that. That they are with someone. They get involved, so stay with them, do all that bullshit, just says, hey, look, if I got somebody. But you really don't have a man. You have a little boy. A mama's boy, a man child. Because the way he's treating you, that's not how he's supposed to treat you. You are better than that. And I'm going to sign off. I'm struggling a little bit here. I got to blow my nose and stuff. But protect your peace. Protect your mind. Be a little bit more mindful in how you move and act and how you do things. So, I love y'all. And I trust in God. I believe in God. No matter what. Despite everything I've gone through, I still serve God. I still trust Him. I still love Him. I still praise Him. I still worship Him. No matter what. You know, even though I look back, I'm like, damn, why is it every single one? I kind of one good relationship where it in a mutual, good, positive way. You know, but it is what it is. So, in Jesus' name, amen. I love y'all. God bless. Hopefully y'all take this message to heart. See y'all later.